You may have heard about the debate of nature versus nurture. This argument revolves around whether a person's character is determined by their environment or genetic makeup. But there's a third factor that often goes unnoticed in this discussion, the study of epigenetics. The concepts of genetics and epigenetics are closely intertwined, so to understand epigenetics, it's important to first learn about regular old genetics. Genetics is the study of how traits are passed down from generation to generation. This is done through something called DNA, which is basically a recipe book made of genetic material that contains all of the instructions to make an organism. For example, certain parts of DNA could tell a person's eye cells to grow in the color blue. Since a string of DNA containing all of the information to make a person would be very long, it's condensed into chromosomes, which are then able to be stored in the nuclei of cells. These chromosomes that contain all of an organism's DNA make up all of the genetic information in an organism's body. This is called the genome. Now let's talk about the epigenome. Epi means above, so the epigenome can be thought of as above the regular genome. While all cells in the genome have the same DNA, and that cannot be changed, the epigenome has the potential to change how this DNA is expressed. An organism may have the DNA to code for many different traits, but only the sections of DNA that are expressed will actually change the organism's physical traits. Again, with eye color, a person may have the genetic information in their genome to tell their eye cells to be brown or blue, but if the information in the epigenome that codes for blue eyes is expressed and the information for brown eyes isn't, that person's eyes will still be blue even though they have that unused DNA for brown eyes as well. The epigenome can control what DNA is expressed. This is done by sections of DNA being tagged by certain chemicals that modify the expression of DNA. These tags cause different sections of DNA to either wind up, which stops them from being read by the body and replicated and therefore stop them from being expressed, or cause them to unwind and become loose, which makes them easy for the body to read, replicate, and express that section of DNA. In a study in 2008, researchers decided to test whether or not the behavior of mother rats would be passed down. The study showed that rat mothers who groom their pups regularly passed these behaviors down to their offspring. The same was true for inattentive mothers. The experiment started with switching the pups of attentive and inattentive mothers to see if they would take on the behavior of their new mother. Despite not being related, the mothers still passed down the behaviors to their pups. Examining these pups' DNA, looking at sections that determine motherly behavior, scientists observed that the pups' epigenome had changed. Pups with inattentive mothers carried chemical tags called methyl groups that silence the DNA section, causing motherly behaviors not to be expressed. In pups with attentive mothers, these methyl tags had become absent, causing them to express the same motherly behavior that their new moms showed to them. The amount of care the pups received from their mothers physically altered their gene expression, or epigenome. So what does this mean for the debate of nature versus nurture? Well, it means that a person's gene expression can be changed by factors in their environment, such as their level of exercise, stress, or nutrition. By taking charge and trying to better their environment, a person is capable of changing their body and life for the better on a genetic level.